In this video, I wanted to introduce you guys to a drill that I like to use whenever I'm having issues with my grip to kind of get me back on track. And this is a drill that's meant to break down the grip into biteable chunks to kind of emphasize how each part of your grip is extremely important. So this is something that I got from somebody else that I spend time on range with, but they gotten it passed down from, you know, one of their special mission units or what have you when they were going through some training. So it was just like passed down to me. But anyways, the way this thing works is you work with the different components of the grip and you isolate each one and you do your best to get some precision out of it. So this isn't going to be completely perfect each time, but the idea is that you're concentrating and trying to focus the pressures. Remember how in my grip video I talked about positions and pressures equal leverage, and they give you leverage depending on the amount of pressure you're able to put in certain positions. So you're kind of having that passive leverage, and this kind of emphasizes that. So the idea is to hold it in a few different areas. And first one we're going to talk about is minimalist, one-handed. So that would be holding it just like this. So you have your middle finger and thumb being the only ones holding on to it while you're pulling the trigger without moving the gun. And I have this with an ELMS laser in it. So I'm going to just aim for the smaller target right about here. And I'm going to see if I can pull the trigger without moving the gun. So I got a dot instead of a dash, so that was good. It was a little bit off, a little bit shaky. Okay, so I had a couple of dashes, mostly dots, so I like to do that 5 times just to kind of get set in that. So that's that. Now, the next portion is just a full grip like this. Keep your thumb high. Don't be connecting them together. That's not how the grip works. So you're trying to set this up like it's actually a grip, so keep the thumb high. And all the way wrapped around nice and tight underneath the trigger guard. And then you don't cant it, just hold it straight up like you have 2 hands on it. So a couple times there I did kind of yank and, well, not yank, but I did pull at the last minute with these fingers. So even though you're not jerking the trigger, you're going to have sympathetic movement in some cases. This is some weight to it. So again, it goes back to the understanding of sympathetic movement due to weight. So I'll do that again. See if I can perform better by squeezing with my ring and pinky fingers. Okay, so I had one flyer there, started shaking at the end, but not really good to do shoulder workouts right before a video, right? So anyways, so that one worked a lot better when I was squeezing with my pinky and ring finger to hold it on as passive leverage, more or less. Now I was pulling the trigger pretty slow, as you can see. This is as fast as I was pulling it, just that fast. It was not very fast at all. So I still had dashes instead of dots using the laser. So that shows that there's movement even afterwards, and that shows sympathetic movement. And we want to eliminate that. So again, we're just breaking down each step of the grip. Now we're going to go into 2 other ones before completing the full grip. Now remember I talked about how the palms need to be squashing the pistol inwards like this, like trying to crush it this way, right? Pancake the gun. Now you're just going to take your hand and fill in this whole area right here with the palm and just leave it. Leave your fingers out like this. And it'll look just like this. And we're going to pull the trigger without moving the gun. We're building, right? We're building up our grip a little bit at a time, right? So now we're going to pull the trigger without moving the gun. Now having isometric inward pressure. So just like that. Okay, so on that second shot, I had a dash, and that was because there was an interruption in my pressure. I dropped the pressure for a second just before the shot, but it wasn't a shot, just trigger pull. Just before the trigger break, I released that pressure and it caused a dash. It caused sympathetic movement when it re-engaged. So that was my fault. I relaxed on it and I wasn't focusing on this particular part. I was focusing on the trigger pull because I was going really slow. So anyways, explanations aside, the next part that you're going to do is just holding with your fingers and keep it open away from the gun, just like so, and just holding it in position. So now you can do two-handed, but you simply are going to hold it open like so. So just like this. Okay, so there were some dashes there. That's because you're holding it a little bit awkward. You're not really building the grip. This is just to show the limit that it's doing. It's holding it back. It's providing that pull, while this one's providing the push. So it's doing that push-pull for you. So all together, this can help you build your grip and doing all these things at once. Here, holding it nice and high with the thumb and the middle finger. Then holding constant pressure with the pinky and ring finger. Then coming in here with the sideward pressure from both sides, and then coming back and limiting it and having a push-pull, a good push-pull will come in and stabilize everything for you. So there you saw everything was pretty well balanced. Everything was, or not balanced, but I was getting dots the entire time. That's really how I like to build my grip if I really need to break everything down and get an understanding on what I need to do. Each one of them broken down, it can feel a little unstable, and that's kind of the point. You're just seeing how each one of them can affect your grip a bit and how it can help a little bit, but if you put too much into it, if you put too much sideways pressure into this, you will wear out your hand a little bit. So you learn how to keep it nice and consistent and add to the friction, because part of the pressure in this, you're just supposed to add friction. Like for this sky right here, this is smooth right here. So all you're trying to do is add some friction to it and doing some push-pull to get a full grip all the way around it. And so if I'm just doing a little bit of sideways pressure, then I stay with dots, and that's fine. But if I try to squeeze way too much, I'm actually conducting an isometric exercise, an overcoming isometric, and that's going to cause you to shake because you keep on engaging muscles more than necessary. You want to use the muscles that you have on board, but that's why you need to be doing some physical training aside from these technical drills. Instead of practicing just your hard skills and soft skills for shooting, you need to provide your body with some additional training, i.e. strength building. Conduct some, overcoming isometrics. Get like a magazine, for instance. Grab a magazine, put it in your palm like so, put it between the other one, and just smash it together to the point where you're actually shaking. And you should be able to hold that for, 5 to 10 seconds, somewhere in between there. And give yourself like a couple of minutes of rest, because that's a lot on your nervous system to do that. That's why you can wear out pretty fast from shooting if you're putting all of your energy into crushing the gun and really squeezing as tight as possible. But I apologize for this video being so long, but it is a pretty intricate drill. It does require a few steps in order to build your grip very well. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. You can do this dry. You can do it with a laser, with a Snapcat laser or whatever, and you can do this at the range if you're wanting to see the actual results live. I recommend doing them dry before you do it live, but, to each their own. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys have a good